we have two categories of books in this case, right? We have those written by people like ourselves, just endlessly open for criticism and conjecture, and those written by invisible, omniscient entities.
But I would presume that if these religious systems weren't codified in books, if they were still just enacted or dramatized, you'd have the same objection. It's not the fact that they're in books that's relevant.
Well, no, but it is the dogmatism. It's the fact that we can't jettison the bad parts.
Okay, it's the dogmatism. Okay, so to me, that's the same as the problem of structure. Now, here's the problem, I think, with the way that your argument is laid out. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It seems to me that this is a place where it needs to be developed, because I see that the attempt that you make to derive the world of value from the world of facts as justifiable given what it is that you're attempting to do, which in principle is to make the world a better place. But there's a massive gap in there. It's like, how do you do it? Because the objection that you place on my reasoning, let's say, which is, well, the problem with these texts is that there's an infinite number of interpretations, and which of them how can you determine which of those is canonically correct, is exactly and precisely the same criticism that can be levied against your attempt to extract a world of value from the domain of facts. It's the same problem.
Well, it's not an infinite number of interpretations in either case, but I allow for...
It's close enough to infinite so that...
Well, it might be. I mean, that's why the moral landscape for me is a landscape of peaks and valleys. And so, I'm totally open to the possibility, in fact, certainty, that there are different ways for similar minds, and certainly different ways for different minds, to be constellated so that they have equivalent but irreconcilable peaks on the landscape. So there's a lot of well-being over here, and there's a lot of well-being over here, and there's a valley in between. And so it's a kind of moral relativism. It's kind of like, this is great and this is great, but these are irreconcilable, right?
Well, I'd like to see that made more concrete, and I need to know how that fits in with your conception, because one of the claims that you make in the moral landscape is that the distinction between the bad life and the good life is not only... It's a factual distinction.
Yeah.
It's universally apprehensible and true. I think it's your fundamental axiomatic claim. And I don't see how that's commensurate with the position that you just put forward.
Well, so here's the position. And you can forget about morality as a concept for this. I mean, I think the starting point is deeper than morality. The starting point, and this is our starting point, all of us right now in the universe. The starting point is we are conscious, right? We have a circumstance that admits of qualitative experience. And again, this is true however we understand consciousness, whatever is actually happening. We could be living in a simulation. This could be a dream. You could be a brain in a vat. Consciousness could just be the product of neurochemistry, or we could have eternal souls running on somehow integrated with the brain. Whatever is true, something seems to be happening. And these seemings can be really, really bad or really, really good. We know each one of us in our lives have experienced this range of possibility. And yes, there are caveats here. There are hard and painful experiences that have a silver lining, right, that give you some other capacity, where you could say, well, that really sucked, but I'm a better person for it, right? And we can understand what it means to be a better person for it in terms, again, of this range of experience, which I'm calling, subsuming all of this, the positive end of this as well-being, which is to say that I'm a better person for it because now, having endured that ordeal, I am capable of much greater compassion, or I appreciate my life more. The cancer made me a better person. Now that I'm cured, I value each moment of life more than I ever did. All of these claims are intelligible within a context of an open-ended context of exploring this space of possible experience. So what I'm saying is forget about morality, forget about right and wrong and good and evil. What is undeniable is that what we have here is a navigation problem. We have a space of possible experience. And again, this is not just a human problem, this is a problem for any possible conscious mind. We have a space of possible experience in which we can navigate, and things can get excruciating and pointlessly horrible, where there are no silver linings, and this can happen individually in some episode of madness that never ends, If there really is a Christian hell to go to, well, then it's going to happen to me after I die, right? Given what I've said on this stage. And so it matters who's right. Obviously, if I knew that an eternity of fiery torment awaited somebody who didn't make the right noises about one faith or another, well, then it would only be rational to make those right noises, right? So it's my bet. I'm placing a bet on certain pictures of reality being wrong, but the reality is we're navigating in this space, and morality and ethics are the terms we use for how we think about our behavior affecting one another's experience. So if you're in a moral solitude, if you're on a desert island, or if you're alone in the universe, morality is not the issue you need to worry about, but well-being still is an ever-present issue. It's possible to suffer, and it's possible to experience bliss and perhaps something beyond that. And the horizon in both directions is something we'll never fully explore very likely. I mean, we don't know how good things can get, and we don't know how bad they can get, but that there's a spectrum here is undeniable. And I would say that my moral realism simply entails that we acknowledge that it's possible not to know what you're missing. It's possible to be living in a way where you are less happy than you could be, and not to know why, right? And just not have the wisdom to make the changes. And that matters. If anything matters, that matters. And it matters to us individually, and it matters to us collectively. And that mattering subsumes everything we can intelligibly want in this domain of value. And so again, it's the cash value of any value claim is in the actual or potential change in consciousness for some conscious system somewhere, sometime. And that's my claim.